Hey, welcome back to Deep Dive Movie Reviews. We're going to do a special episode just before the Oscars air in a couple of weeks. James and I are going to give you our predictions of who's going to win. We're not only going to tell you who we think should win, but we're going to tell you who will win. James, let's get into it.
Okay, so yes, who will win? Who should win? So let's begin. We're going to go down the official Oscars.org website in alphabetical order. First award up here is actor in a leading role. Steve, who will win? Who should win?
Will Smith. It's his year. He has, I think the Academy wants to award Will, and his performance in King Richard was phenomenal. So he will win. Who do I think should win? I personally like Andrew Garfield. I know that he's not going to win. I thought his performance in Tick, Tick, Boom was fantastic. He's such an up-and-coming star. And like Will Smith, he's fun to watch. So Will Smith will win. Andrew Garfield should win.
I am absolutely on the same page as you here. It's Will Smith's year. He's been sweeping all of the other award ceremonies. It's his third nomination. It's his to lose. But yeah, if I had a vote, it would be for Andrew Garfield. I mean, he did something truly special. The fact that he's not even a professionally trained singer, what he did in Tick, Tick, Boom as Christopher Larson was something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, as a betting man, Will Smith, but my heart is with Andrew Garfield. Okay, moving on. Actor in a supporting role.
Do you want to go? Why don't you go first on this one?
Okay, so I think Troy Kotsur for Coda has got it. I mean, that was a role that defined the movie. And it defines everything that's good about the movie. And he's such a highlight of it. He's so funny, so animated. It's a real great opportunity for the Oscars to award a deaf performer. It will be only the second time they've ever done it, after his co-star Marlee Matlin won for Children of a Lesser God back in '86, I want to say. And I don't think they'll miss that opportunity. And I think it's the right call as well.
I couldn't agree more. Troy Kotsur is going to take it all the way. He will win. He should win. If there's an upset here, though, I would say it'd be Cody Smith-McPhee, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think he was the early favorite, but I really feel the Coda tide has
absolutely swung. There's a wave coming.
Okay, actress in a leading role.
James, this category is wide open, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to say Jessica Chastain will win it. Having said that, I think Nicole Kidman should win it for her portrayal of Lucille Ball. She melted into that role to the point where I forgot that it was Nicole Kidman instead of my beloved Lucy. Having said that, kudos to Kristen Stewart. She pulled off a fantastic job of portraying Princess Diana, but Jessica Chastain, I really think, is going to be going home with the gold.
Okay, yeah, this was a wide open category. It's one of those categories where pretty much a different actress was winning it every award ceremony, and only very recently has anybody started to sort of double up, and that has proved to be Jessica Chastain. I think she's been nominated a couple of times before for Zero Dark 30 and for The Help. Everybody loves her. I think people have as all zeroing in on her, and I think it's a thoroughly deserved win if she does. However, my heart is with Kristen Stewart. I'll put my hands up actually and say I still haven't watched Parallel Mothers, so for all I know, Penelope Cruz could be excellent. Kristen Stewart did something truly exceptional. What you were saying about Nicole Kidman disappearing into the role of Lucille Ball, I felt Kristen Stewart did that in Spencer. So if again, I think she should win. I know it's her first award, her first Oscar nomination, and she's one of those actresses that in some circles people feel that she hasn't quite proven her chops yet. I disagree. I think she's great. But Jessica Chastain will win, and I like her too, so that's fine. Okay, actress in a supporting role. There's no question here. If there is one sure thing this award ceremony, it's that Ariana DeBose is going to win Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story. I haven't even considered anybody else because they don't have a chance, frankly.
No, I couldn't agree more. Ariana DeBose, I think the Academy wants to award West Side Story with something. Steven Spielberg did an amazing job bringing that story to life. Ariana DeBose was remarkable in it. She's going home with the gold, I believe. She will win it, and she should win it.
Oh yeah, I've got no problem with her winning whatsoever. She's the best thing in that movie, so that's fine. Okay, best animated feature film.
This one's difficult for me because I loved Mitchell and the Machines. It was a fantastic movie. This is such a strong category this year, and obviously when we did our review of Flea, we talked about how the theme of Flea is so unlike the traditional film in this category, and I think that's what Oscar voters are going to struggle with. So as much as I'd love to see Flea win, I think it's going to go to Encanto. Encanto seems to have captured a large populace within movie-going audiences, including my own son, who has watched Encanto more times than I want to think about. So I think Encanto is going to be what wins, and Flea should win, but I have no problem with Encanto because it is a beautiful movie.
Okay, I'm going to put my hands up and admit that Encanto is my least favorite film in this category. In fact, Encanto and Luca they didn't really do much for me. I found it messy. I found the songs forgettable. But I seem to be in the minority. It was very bright. It was very colorful. I'm sure, it will obviously appeal to a huge demographic of people. Everybody seems to love it. It swept the animated film awards everywhere it goes.
James, I come home and my son and my helper and my wife are sitting on the couch watching Encanto with tears misty-eyed. Encanto is going to, I think, and I loved the Mitchells versus the Machines. I
love that too. I love Raya and the Last Dragon as well. Those two of the sort of quote unquote traditional animated films, I thought they were both lovely. A lot of fun. Mitchells and the Machines particularly is like a lot of fun. What should win? Flea should win for all the reasons that you have already said, and we have an entire video dedicated to our review and our thoughts on Flea, so go and check that out. It should win. Unfortunately, it won't win. Encanto is going to win, and it's an opportunity, I guess, for them to award Lin-Manuel Miranda somehow because of his involvement in the film. I don't know about that. It will win. There's no point betting against it.
Do you think, though, that Encanto, Mitchells versus Machines, Luca, there could be a split in the family-themed films, and then Flea takes it because of a split in different areas? Or do you think Encanto might have it so much that...
I would love to see that, actually, because I think Flea is far and away the best film in this category.
It is. I agree with you there.
But I think I think a lot of voters skip this category, in terms of watching the screeners, and I think they just see, well, what's everybody else voting for? What's the latest Pixar movie? What's going on?
What's the hot one?
And Flea doesn't fit in. Hopefully, they will have seen it because it's nominated in a couple of other categories as well, and where it might not be the favorite there either. And so if the love for Flea is strong enough, you might see people voting for it here. But I think, just to show my hand a little bit, I think that's going to be Flea's problem, is that where do people reward it? Because it is split across three very different, very hotly contested nomination categories. And I think it's not going to garner enough support in any one focused category, and it's going to end up losing all three. But we'll get on to that. Okay, best cinematography.
It's going to be Dune. Should win, will win. Dune is going to pick up, I think, all the technical achievements. It is an incredible visual feast. And although there's some great movies in that category being represented, Dune's taking it.
I wish I had your confidence. This is there's about 4 categories where I really don't know I can't feel it in my gut what's going to win. I want Dune to win this. I think it's a toss-up between Dune and The Power of the Dog.
The Dog, yes. Yeah.
It's going to be one of those two. I don't know which. I know it's going to be whichever one I don't pick, because that's just how it's going to go. So I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to vote for Dune. But I think I've now jinxed it. And Power of the Dog is going to win.
There could be an upset there. It's not a sure thing, but this is one that I can say would and should, or will and should be Dune.
All righty. Okay, costume design. Okay, I'm going to go first. This is the one that I really wanted. I really want Dune to win on this. But I remember when I saw Cruella, and it was quite early in the year last year, and obviously months before I saw Dune. And I watched that movie and I was like, well, there's best costume design. Right. It's a movie about the fashion industry, and it's completely outrageous costumes designed by Jenny Bevan, who is an industry veteran. She won most recently for Mad Max Fury Road for her costumes in that, which are crazy. She's a force of nature. Her costumes are fantastic. Then Dune came along, and those costumes are amazing as well. However, it does look like people are going with Cruella for this. So I think what will win, Cruella. And you know what? I said at the time, I was like, those costumes are great. I remember saying it at the time. So I'm going to say it should win as well.
You're saying Cruella should win?
I'm saying both. Much against what I want to. I'm saying, because I think the costumes in Dune are amazing.
Yeah.
But the costumes in Cruella, okay, fine. Cruella will win, but Dune should.
I can't really. I want to find something to disagree with you more on, but I see this coming down to those two as well. I want Dune to win. I think it should win, but I've been seeing a lot of momentum, and I've seen some highlights of Cruella, the costume involved. I think Cruella is going to win.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, we're aligning pretty strongly so far.
The problem is doing this together. I think we start to kind of synchronize.
We're influencing each other too much.
Yeah.
Or perfectly, not too much, but just enough.
Well, maybe directing is where we go off tangent. What do you think about directing?
Well, here we go. Okay, so best director. Over to you.
Directing, I'm surprised that Coda, is it Sian Heder?
Sean. I think it's Sean.
That's
Heder.
Right. Sean Heder was not nominated, which is really taking away from the possibility of it going home with the best picture. Having said that, the other movie that I loved this year was Belfast. And so, and I love Drive My Car, but so James, I think there's such a love for Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog. It's going to win, but who I think should win, it's really a toss up for me. I loved Belfast. It's one of my top films of the year. I love Kenneth Branagh, but Raiska Hamaguchi, the director of Drive My Car, I think has taken that film to such a level. There's such a love for that. There's a part of me that should win. I would love to see an upset. And if it did happen, it's not going to. It's going to Jane Campion, but that's what I'd like to see.
Okay. I totally agree with you that Jane Campion will win for The Power of the Dog. I think it's deserved. I think she did a fantastic job. I think she's a great filmmaker. So it'll be excellent to see her have her day, have her moment. Who should win? Well, who should win is Denis Villeneuve for Dune, but he didn't get nominated. He got absolutely shut out. I can't believe it. I'm still
I
not
don't
over
even know.
it.
I don't know how that occurred. I
don't know how that happened. It makes no sense considering the love across the board for Dune in all these other categories.
Yes.
You got 10 nominations. How you then don't? I mean, he would have just been top of the ballot for me every time. You put him down, put Jane Campion down, and then you're like, okay, who else?
We've just done an episode for our Best Picture series that we're doing on Wings. Wings was such an event. You even called it the Avatar of its time, and for me, Dune is at that level. This is a monumental film, and for it to not be recognized for directing is such a travesty that we just need to make mention of it yet again.
Totally agree. So who should win? Denis Villeneuve should win. If you're making me pick somebody on this list, I think Jane Campion should win. Mm-hmm. I don't want anyone else on that list to win more than I want her to win. Only Denis, and he's not on the list.
I liked Power of the Dog. You liked it more than I did.
Fair enough. Okay, documentary feature. I can say, unfortunately, I've only seen 2 of these. Mm-hmm. I've only seen Flea and I've only seen Summer of Soul. I know that's very, very bad of me, but that's the way it is. I think Summer of Soul is going to win. From very early this year, it seemed to be just sweeping film awards, whether it was documentary film awards or not. It was winning films in categories other than documentary pretty much all year. It's a great documentary. It's an archival music movie. It's also just a forgotten moment in history movie. There will be some pundits who will tell you that archival footage documentaries don't always do well in best documentary feature, but this one seems to have really captured everybody's hearts. So it will win. Should Flea win over it? Maybe, maybe Flea's the better documentary. It certainly, you could argue that the story it tells is more quote unquote important. Mm-hmm. But I think Summer of Soul is deceptive. On its surface, it presents itself as, a concert movie, mm-hmm. essentially. But there is so much going on under the surface about politics, about civil rights, race relations, all the rest of it. Just New York City itself, financing of different neighborhoods in New York City, all the rest of it. There's a lot going on beneath the surface of that. It's thoroughly worthwhile. So I'm going to say that in this category, and I think and it alludes back to the problem I said Flea is going to be facing, is Summer of Soul, I think, is going to win and does deserve it.
I don't have much to add because I've only seen Flea, but I have.
But I'm going with Ascension.
But I'm going with the herd, and it seems like Summer of Soul has got this wrapped up. So it seems like that's where the consensus seems to be falling. So yeah, Summer of Soul will win. Flea, I've not even say Flea should, because I haven't seen Summer of Soul. I'll probably like that as well.
You can abstain. So you can abstain.
I will abstain. Yeah, I'll abstain. Yeah. There's a few of these categories I'm going to have to, because as we get into, I haven't seen some of these. So.
And I think it's probably time to throw our hands up now, actually, as we come to documentary short subjects. I don't know about you, but I may have only seen one or two of the animated shorts, and certainly in this category, I don't think I've seen any of them yet. I'm planning to hopefully catch up with them. A lot of them are like on YouTube and where have you. But for the moment, unfortunately, I'm going to have to abstain in the short film categories because I haven't seen enough of them to make an opinion.
I have to likewise. I haven't seen any of those.
Okay, oops. Film editing. Okay, film editing. Now this, if there's one category where I have no idea what's going to win.
Yeah.
It's film editing. I can tell you one thing. Don't Look Up is not going to win. But Dune, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, Tick, Tick, Boom have all won this award in other award ceremonies.
Yes.
The Editing Guild Awards they split it comedy, musical, and drama. They gave them to Tick, Tick, Boom and King Richard. Other award ceremonies have given it to Power of the Dog. Other award ceremonies have given it to Dune. So I have no idea. I can't see a pattern anywhere. Right. So I'm just going to have to go with my heart. As much as I thought Tick, Tick, Boom in particular, I thought the editing in that was incredibly effective and impactful. I'm going to go with Dune just because I love Dune, and that's like my go-to movie this year. So should win, will win.
Yeah, I've seen every film in this category. I enjoyed every film in this category. I agree with you. You can eliminate Don't Look Up. That's not even in the contention. Dune will win it, and Dune will win it and should win it. But I want to give a shout out to Tick, Tick, Boom, who I have a love for that film, and if they had an upset, I'd welcome it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good moment to point out. I'm quite surprised at how little love there's been for Tick, Tick, Boom. I think it's been recognized as best actor and best editing, and that's it. And I think rightly so. I think Andrew Garfield and the editing, as we've talked about, are both fantastic. Yeah. But I am surprised because I think Lin-Manuel Miranda was great. He did a great job directing it. So I'm surprised there hasn't been more love, so Netflix, you didn't run a strong enough campaign. Sorry. Yeah. You put all your love on The Power of the Dog. Okay. International feature film. Is this even up for debate?
Yeah, this one is Drive My Car will win. Drive My Car should win. But I just got to tip my hat to, I think The Worst Person in the World was one of my favorite films of the year. And it's unfortunate because in another year, I think The Worst Person in the World would have taken it, but there seems to be such a tidal wave for Drive My Car that's where it's going this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to echo those sentiments completely. I love Worst Person in the World. It's fantastic. It's a great movie.
It is. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It is a delight.
It really is. I saw just this morning when we're recording this on Friday the 18th, just this morning, Criterion announced that they're bringing it out on Blu-ray in June.
Oh, nice.
Which is going to be nice. Yeah, I mean, you'd be mad to bet against Drive My Car, and it's great. And we've got to get behind Asian movies because of where we are, and it's good for the local industry and all the rest of it.
And Drive My Car has been very good to us as well.
That's true.
Our first video review to hit 10,000 views is Drive My Car. We're on the cusp of 10,000 views.
I was going to say, if you haven't already watched our Drive My Car video, then you probably haven't watched any of our videos, because that's the one that everybody's watching. And we thank everybody who has. It's fantastic. It's been very, like you said, it's been very good to us. And so we would be remiss if we were not team Drive My Car in at least one category.
Yeah, we definitely have to fly that flag.
Sure. And so here, yet again, Flea is cursed once more to be great, but also ran. So Drive My Car all the way. Okay, makeup and hairstyling. Where are you going this time?
Ooh, it's unfortunate. House of Gucci, actually, although I didn't care much for the film, if I'm just looking at that category, I kind of want to go with House of Gucci. But, there's so little love for that film this year. I just don't see it going anywhere. Eyes of Tammy Faye, the whole idea is Tammy Faye and the makeup and the hairstyle and everything. But again, to me, it's going to be either Dune or Cruella. And I don't know, there's a part of me that just feels that people know that Villeneuve, did I pronounce that right?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
Yeah. Villeneuve, got, what's the word when we say somebody?
Snubbed.
Thank you. Villeneuve got snubbed in the directing category, and I feel that people want to give it its due, and so I think it will win it, and it should win it.
All righty. Yeah, I mean, this is the only category that House of Gucci was nominated in. I think Lady Gaga did get snubbed. I think she should have got a Best Actress nomination. I'm not sure what else should be nominated for House of Gucci, but I thought she was where the film was at its strongest. It does look to me like The Eyes of Tammy Faye is gonna do the job here.
Yeah.
It's aligning in a way that Darkest Hour did for Gary Oldman, that The Iron Lady did for Meryl Streep back in the day, where the makeup and the performance are coming together and both winning. I think Joker did the same thing. What should win? Dune should win. This is one of those categories, along with costume design, that it should win. But as much as Cruella is a movie about fashion and about its costumes, as you said, The Eyes of Tammy Faye is a movie about its makeup, and I think it is going to be recognized. It is going to be recognized for this. So Eyes of Tammy Faye will win. Dune obviously should win.
There we go.
So music original score.
Ooh, that original score in Dune was fantastic. It was, the using otherworldly instruments. Having said that, Encanto, obviously a lot of love for that. Again, I think we eliminate Don't Look Up. I'm going to just say, I will say Dune should win it, and Encanto will win it.
Interesting. I know there's a lot of love for Johnny Greenwood, and he's been nominated a couple of times. And he's nominated again here for Power of the Dog. However, I don't think he's going to do it again. Hans Zimmer, obviously, huge career veteran, and he's won before. But I think Dune is going to win it. I think it's incredibly innovative, experimental score. He went out and created his own instruments in order to create like you said, an otherworldly sound. And I think because of that, it should win. It will win. I know I've been sort of saying Dune should, but won't in a number of categories. This is one of the ones I genuinely think it's got locked down, and it's thoroughly deserved. So should for Dune.
I would love Dune to win it. But you reminded me about Johnny Greenwood's score in The Power of the Dog, and I remember in that film how much I enjoyed the soundtrack and the score in that film. So just a shout out.
One of three scores in Oscar-nominated films, because he did the score for Spencer. He also did the score for Licorice Pizza as well. Okay, music, best original song. Now, if you know anything about me at all, you know that I am like the biggest James Bond fan of all time, and I know that normally it wasn't a thing that the Bond movies featured in the Oscars, but then Adele won for Skyfall, and then Sam Smith won for Spectre, and it seems to be setting a trend that I think is set to continue here. The Academy love an opportunity to give an Oscar to a pop star. They did it with Elton John, and they've done it a bunch of times. Now here you can point out and go, well, Beyonce did the song for King Richard, she's nominated too. Van Morrison is also nominated. Lin-Manuel Miranda is also nominated. 14-time nominee Diane Warren is nominated yet again. She seems to be in this category every year. However, I think Billie Eilish for No Time to Die should win and will win.
I couldn't agree more. Billie Eilish, it was a wonderful song. And for all the reasons you just gave, I'm not as big a Bond fan as you, but I'm pretty close. And I agree. No Time to Die will be bringing home the gold.
All righty. See, we're going through these alphabetically. The next category here is Best Picture. I'm going to skip that and leave it to you.
I was just going to say, let's do that.
Okay, so we're just going to remember to do it. Yeah. So, production design. Where are we going to go?
Yeah, this is one I'd love to get a shout out to Nightmare Alley. I really enjoyed Nightmare Alley. And one of the things I did love about that movie was the production design. But having said that, there doesn't seem to be a lot of momentum for Nightmare Alley in any category. So although I wanted to give it a shout out, I don't even think it should win, but I just remember how great the production design was in that film. Dune should win it and will win it. The production design, what Denis Villeneuve was able to accomplish in that film is just remarkable. We've said it all before. We'll say it again.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great list of nominees, to be honest. I mean, West Side Story, Tragedy of Macbeth, like you said, Nightmare Alley.
Tragedy, but yes.
Great production design. Arguably the strengths of all of these films. But this is one of those categories where I think Dune has it locked up. It's spectacular, the production design on this film. It's so transportative. It takes you to other different worlds. The different worlds feel so aligned with the different houses, Atreides and what are the bad guys called? Oh, my mind's gone blank.
The Bene Gesserit. The ladies.
No, the Harkonnens is what I was thinking of.
Oh, the
but
Harkonnens.
Yes, okay.
I thought you said the ladies.
The baddies.
Oh,
well,
baddies.
whatever.
Yeah,
I've made a mess of this. But just the production design of Dune is amazing.
It is. It's incredible.
From the designs of the spaceships, the dragonfly little spaceships, and to the huge, colossal, personnel carriers and what. It's so good. It's spectacular.
Did we mention how Villeneuve got snubbed for being director?
Did we mention that? Let's mention that.
I don't think we mentioned that.
He got snubbed, man. He should have got a Best Director nod. He should win. Anyway, Dune's going to win here. So,
agreed.
Short film animated. Sorry.
I'm going to pass.
Short film live action. Sorry.
Pass.
Best sound.
Best sound. So, again, all 5 of these films, I loved all 5 of them. All of them, I can see why they're nominated. But again, Dune, for all the things you just mentioned about the production design, and I will carry that over individual effects as well. Dune it just pushed the boundaries in so many different areas that to not recognize it, I think would be wrong. Should win it, will win it.
Totally agree with you. And bringing in visual effects here as well. It's all part of that immersive experience. And I think that was one of the great strengths of Dune, that it created this other world, or the series of other world. And it really felt like you were there. And it's all because of the score, the sound, the look of and sound of the movie. So the production design, visual effects, sound and score, all working together in harmony. I think those are the 4 Oscars that Dune has absolutely got locked down.
Yes.
It would be an upset if it wins. If it doesn't win any of those, fingers crossed it wins more than that. But those are the 4 that I think it's definitely taken home.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so now we get into the screenplay categories. Best adapted screenplay. Should I go first?
You go ahead. Yes.
Okay. both of these categories. So we could kind of talk about them both at the same time if you want.
Yeah.
Both of these categories are kind of so strong this year and feel really undecided for me. We're recording this just before the WGA gives out their screenwriting awards this coming weekend. And I kind of wanted to wait, but we didn't have time to wait. Adapted screenplay, you've got Coda, which is based on a French movie. You've got Drive My Car, which is based on a Haruki Murakami short story. Dune, it films an unfilmable novel. Yeah. Maggie Gyllenhaal's adaptation of The Lost Daughter, and then you've got The Power of the Dog. All incredibly strong films, incredibly strong screenplays. And in the case of Dune, we've seen adaptations of Dune before, and they've been chaotic, confusing, messy, incoherent at times. Denis Villeneuve himself is nominated here. And I think that's something that should be paid attention to. I think other than Best Picture, this is the only category in which his name is, that he would actually take home a statuette.
Right.
And I think if the feeling that we share, that Denis Villeneuve was snubbed, this is an opportunity to give him an Oscar.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's an incredible achievement that he's done. So who should win? Undeniably, John Spates, Denis Villeneuve, and Eric Roth should win for their screenplay for Dune. Who will win? It's kind of anybody's game. I could see Coda win. I could see Maggie Gyllenhaal win for The Lost Daughter. It's so hard. Mm-hmm. It's so hard. I'm going to put my faith in the Academy to share with us the opportunity to give Denis Villeneuve an Oscar. I'm probably wrong. He should win, and I'm just going to say will win because I've got to have a bit of blind faith sometimes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if The Power of the Dog won't sneak out with it at the end. I agree with you. Dune should take it. It should win. Will it win? I have such love for 4 of these movies. I should say I have real love for 3 of these movies. Coda, Drive My Car, and Dune. I love these movies. I enjoyed Power of the Dog. I was less enthused with Lost Daughter, but I understand why people are drawn to that film. Any one of these could easily, in other categories, we instantly dismiss this one or that one. There's no easy dismissal in this category. Right. But I'm going to side with you, James, and let's hold hands together and pray that the Academy will recognize Denis Villeneuve. You can. I'm the faith guy. What can I say?
Well, this is it. The only thing I can think of is it's such a strong category that the voting is going to be split across so many different potential winners. Yeah. Any one of these wins, and you're like, oh yeah, well, it's thoroughly deserved. So, and fingers crossed.
And then going into original screenplay, again, I would say you can eliminate Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
But other than that, Belfast, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Worst Person in the World. I loved seeing Worst Person in the World get its nomination here. I don't think it's going to win. What I think is going to win is I think Belfast was an early favorite for the Best Picture, and it's lost some steam. But there's a lot of love for Kenneth Branagh, and there's a lot of love for this film. I'm going to suggest that Belfast will win it, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. So should and will for Belfast for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tricky one. I think I agree with you. Don't Look Up. No. The Worst Person in the World, I think the nomination is its award. It was a surprise addition in this category, and I think it's not going to go any further than this. And King Richard, I think giving Will Smith the Oscar is going to be enough. I think this is a 2-horse race, and it's a real toss-up. It's between Belfast and it's between Licorice Pizza. Paul Thomas Anderson and Kenneth Branagh are both longtime industry veterans, beloved by many, have a great, strong body of work, have both been nominated countless times. Neither of them has ever won, which doesn't make it any easier. And both have produced really strong, very personal, semi-autobiographical films. All I will say, and Licorice Pizza is about, the Valley in the 70s.
The industry that, it's
Sure,
about the
it's on the
industry.
fringes. It's on the fringes of the industry, and that is going to have a nostalgic trigger for a lot of people. Belfast, we've talked about at length. That's a similarly nostalgic story, albeit a very different one, and has, as you spoke about so eloquently before in our review of Belfast, has overtones that can be alluded
in America,
seen in America right now in the divisive culture there. So it's a real toss up. I think the smart money is to say, I think Kenneth Branagh does slightly have the edge. I think that at the end of the day, the international awards body is just a bit of a bunch of misty-eyed old schmaltzes. So I think Belfast is going to sneak it in there. I think it's going to be the only thing it wins. But then, so just to balance that out, I'm going to say that Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza should win.
Okay.
Just so that I give them both something.
Right. And if either one of them wins, which will probably happen, you could say, well, see, I told you so.
See, yeah, exactly. I told you. I told you it should have done. I told you it would have done. Yeah.
You Brits.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah, so I'm going to ride that fence as hard as possible and say, but I just feel that Belfast ever so slightly, Licorice Pizza just hasn't been getting
no. And
any,
I think
hasn't been winning.
Part of the reason it hasn't been easily accessible. It hasn't.
This is true.
Been able to be seen on as many platforms and with as much availability as many of these other films.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so now we come to Best Picture.
Yes.
And this is a year where there were a guaranteed 10 nominees. Often, they said that it could be up to 10 as long as they all secure 5% of the vote. They changed that this year to say that there will be 10 nominees. A lot of people interpreted that as, oh, well, that's going to allow Spider-Man to get nominated, or some people are saying No Time to Die will get nominated, something a bit more commercial. Didn't happen in either case. I think what you ended up with was Nightmare Alley and arguably Drive My Car were the two that kind of snuck in, probably having not seen the results. But that was my feeling, as the two that snuck in. So
having said that, James, I will say, though, that I think this year's Best Pictures, despite not having those big tentpole commercial hits in here, is some of the most accessible films that I've seen in this category in a number of years. Even Tammy, my wife, was saying, most years, half of those films are films nobody's seen or cares about. And this year, I'm looking at most of these films and thinking, these are solid films that are not just accessible to film critics and the film elite, but by people who just enjoy going to the movies. And I'm seeing there's a lot of good films in this category this year.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a solid list. Normally, there's one or two in the Best Picture pool, and you're like, well, that one shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I mean, some people might say Don't Look Up, but that was for pundits, that was a very early lock-in. That was a film that was definitely going to get this far.
I think there's a couple other movies that should have been there instead of it, but I don't think it doesn't deserve to be there. It was a solid movie. I enjoyed that film. It won't win. It's like you said, is in the nomination. But again, it was one of those accessible films that most people saw.
They did. It was on Netflix. People made it very easy for people to see. So where do you think this one is going?
James, I'm telling you what's going to happen. Power of the Dog will win. Coda should win. Belfast should win. I'm cheating. I'm doing two shoulds. I love Coda. In fact, I didn't think anything I was going to like more than Belfast. And then I saw Coda. And Coda even might have edged out Belfast. I love both of those films. They're my favorite films in this. Drive My Car also is something that I feel very attached to. Power of the Dog, I enjoy it. I don't want to communicate that I didn't think this was a wonderful film, that Jane Campion didn't do an amazing job. I just don't love it the way other people seem to love it. And that's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, Power of the Dog really, really hit home for me. I really like a sort of, I love a Western, and I really like a sort of a dark, subversive Western that, subverts my expectations. And this one really did. I by about halfway through, I was pretty sure I knew where it was going. It was going to go to a dark place, but it wasn't going to, but it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. And that I appreciate. That always surprised me. It had a really rich sort of sense of place and time, and the characters were fantastic. I thought Benedict, early on in the season, I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was a lock for best actor. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. He's going to win an Oscar. But then that never really became a conversation. That said, I think The Power of the Dog will win.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel that it's done enough. It's a great film. I think it was one in like my top 3 movies of the year, and it's the kind of movie that I think Academy voters across the board feel comfortable voting for.
Yeah.
There's a film like Dune, for example. There will be a strong notable contingent in the Academy who will not be able to get past the fact that it's a science fiction movie.
Right.
I think in the same way, that's why Mad Max Fury Road didn't win. I mean, that had more going against it, that it was an action movie, that it was light on plot and that kind of thing. What Dune has is going for it, beyond all the things that we've talked about now already, is the fact that it's a book that I think a lot of those old fogey Academy voters will have read and will have a nostalgia for, which might work in its favor.
Yeah.
However, it's a space movie, and for a lot of people, they'll be like, well, it can't be a best picture. There is this mentality that a best picture winner has to be a kind of stuffy, worthy drama,
grounded in reality in a certain degree. But there's one thing The Power of the Dog doesn't have, and that's Sam Elliott's vote.
Well, that's true. He took it very, very personally, didn't he?
Yeah, he does not like that film.
Yeah, he managed to come off as homophobic, racist, and sexist in a single sentence.
Yeah, that was
it was like, well done, Sam.
That was the threefer. Yeah.
But I liked Jane Campion's response was pretty good. She was just like, yeah, he's not a cowboy, he's an actor. So I liked
him in Tombstone.
Hey, I like Sam Elliott. Yeah, he was great in Roadhouse.
Yes.
And if that's not a gay movie, I don't know what is. So let's just. Anyway, we have become sidetracked ever so slightly. I think The Power of the Dog will win.
Yeah.
And I think it's a thoroughly deserved win. I think it's a great movie.
Yes.
What should win? This should come as no surprise for you to hear. What should win? Dune should win. It's the best film of the year. I thought you
were gonna say James Bond there, but
well, yeah. Dune should win. It's a spectacular achievement on every level.
Yeah.
And I think people need to get over this anti-genre bias that they have. However, I'm going to add, as you did 2 shouldas, I'm going to add a little caveat in there at the end and say, watch out, because if anything is going to upset the power of this particular dog, it's going to be Coda.
Coda, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for that movie.
There really is. And, people will turn around and say, no film has ever won Best Picture without a Best Editing nomination, at least, and Coda doesn't have one. That's actually, I found out just the other day, I've been saying that a lot this season, and apparently that's not true, because it has happened once, and relatively recently, Birdman won without a Best Editing nomination. However,
I'm surprised that didn't get a Best Editing nomination.
That film is considered to be shot in a single take, therefore has no editing.
Oh,
it isn't. Yes, it isn't shot as a single take. In fact, there is a lot of editing in it, all hidden, and it's done in like 10-minute bursts. But the perception is that there's no editing, therefore, of course, it wouldn't get a nomination for Best Editing. So you can kind of see why that one exception to the rule exists.
Why I think Coda, or even possibly, although it's a longer shot, Belfast. I've said to you before, James, is we've just come through 2.5 years of COVID restrictions. People have had mental health issues. They've been cooped up. Power of the Dog, as wonderful a film as that is, has its dark undertones.
That is true.
Coda and Belfast are celebrations of life. You come out of those films with a spring in your step, and humanity is a better place because of these films. And I gotta think that there's the environment that we're in right now will help Belfast and Coda a little bit more. Having said that, I still think Power of the Dog will win, but I'm giving my reason for when the upset happens, why it happened.
Sure. And I think Coda much more so than Belfast even.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed. Yeah.
it is such a shamelessly feel good movie in a way that almost drove me to not watch it. Then I ended up watching it twice, and I was a dribbling, sniveling mess both times by the end of it, in the best way possible. It's the ultimate feel good weepy.
I keep watching though the talking heads and the late night shows. Jimmy Kimmel, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Meyers,
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon, a number of these guys. Even Bill Maher just had Kenneth Branagh on his show. All these guys who are basically my age, they're all 50 somethings. They all have Kenneth Branagh coming on, and they love this film. They can't stop talking about how much they love this film. And that's why I keep wondering, I wonder if there could be just a little bit of the little engine that could. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a love for Belfast, and I think original screenplay is where it's gonna it's gonna get something.
Yeah.
Which means yet again, Licorice Pizza walks away empty-handed, but I think that's fine. I didn't click with Licorice Pizza the way some other people did. I think it's a really well crafted and entertaining movie, but it didn't do a lot for me emotionally. And I think to win an Oscar, it's got to have an emotional connection. And I think that's working against Dune, actually. To be perfectly honest, I think for a lot of people it felt cold and a little emotionally closed off.
In our review of it, I have some critiques of that film. Just as much as I praised it, it was not a slam dunk film for me in the way that I thought it should have and could have been. So there we are.
In our review of Dune, which is actually audio only and was kind of the dress rehearsal for this series. Actually.
Yes.
We did it as a podcast, and that's what spurred us on to create this channel. So I think we're there.
I think that's it. And by the way, and you know, because of COVID restrictions, the pub's only open for another hour and 43 minutes. So I've got to draw this to a close. Yes.
Okay, so I think we've, those are our Oscar predictions. We may come back and congratulate ourselves or commiserate with how many we got wrong, how many we got right. A number of the films that we have talked about today, we exist as separate reviews that we have covered. So please take a look at our channel and have a look at all of those videos to hear more about what we thought about pretty much all of those movies.
And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Join us on the journey. And if you love talking Oscars, James and I have just started a new series where we're going through every Best Picture film from 1927, 28, starting with Wings. It's a project we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. Join us and watch some of these movies with us. It's going to be a real challenge to get through every Best Picture that has ever been. So, James, until next episode.
Goodbye.